Hello everyone, and welcome to another episode of What the Hell Am I Playing? I'm your host Larnon, and today I'm going to be looking at a free-to-play MMORPG by the name of Rusty Hearts. And this was just released September 20th, 2011 on Steam. It was published by Perfect World. It was developed by Stairway Games. Now, when I saw the fact, when I saw Perfect World in general, that kind of scared me a little bit, like my heart sank, sorta, because I've played another game by them, but it was not by the same developer. I played a game called Forsaken World, and that was developed by Perfect World Beijing, which is, of course, completely different than Stairway Games. And Forsaken World, absolutely hated it. My first impressions on it took about maybe 2 minutes after you got through the opening, whenever you could right-click on the text in a quest, and your character would automatically go there. And some people may say, you know, okay, that takes the grind out of it a little bit, and I can totally understand that. Like, I can really understand that. I know where you're coming from if you were to say something like that, but I completely disagree. I don't want a game to play itself for me. And now I'll admit, I've played a little bit of this, like I went through the tutorial and stuff, and while I was a little bit worried about like doing a first impressions on an MMO, or really an RPG in general, like my first video probably shouldn't have been Divine Cybermancy. That wasn't the only thing wrong with it, but it was an RPG, you know, they start slow a lot of the times. This, I think, merits being able to show a tutorial in an RPG, and it still seems interesting. Now this is 360 pad supported, and I really recommend that. I'll show you the controls and everything later, but
hurry, try to keep up.
I already have a pad plugged in.
Where are we even going? I think we lost it for now.
Phew. Are you sure he's not after us anymore?
He's following us here. He's too big for this corridor.
It sounds clear. You guys can stop running away now.
Us? You were the one who panicked and told us to run in the first place. In fact, I don't think I've ever seen you move so fast. You're usually pretty lazy.
Yeah, well, it's amazing what you can do when there's a giant monster chasing you. Speaking of which, heads up front. He spotted us again.
I think he wants to say...
Yep. Voice acting and all. Not for absolutely everything, but this is basically kind of a hack and slash. It's still an RPG, of course, but you'll see the elements of that in a very short amount of time. You start to get new shit. There it is! There's your first skill, just like that. And everything, for the most part, works just with the control pad. I'm not sure once you get like tons of abilities how that's going to work. I don't know yet. But for the most part, I'll navigate menus and stuff with the mouse because I find that easier to do. I kind of prefer the fact that you're able to do that. So I navigate them with a mouse. And I'm pretty happy with doing so. So you got a roll here. Good little bit of dodging, so it's all real time, of course. And you go to a new area, and oh my god, stuff spawns, big surprise. But you can use all of your abilities with the control pad. And I would very much recommend doing so. You know, if you don't have one, it doesn't have to be a 360 pad. I think most, if not all of them, are going to be supported by this. It's because of the nature of the game, and they did recognize that. That's a huge plus. What are these? Oh, alright. Put those on. Can't really tell. I think the outfits are more how you can tell, rather than the gear that you're wearing, which, it's alright. At least you'll match, right? You don't have to worry about your fashion sense. And this is very action-y. I mean, this is an MMO RPG, and I'm kind of enjoying just the opening of it. I mean, that's really rare, you know? That hasn't happened in a long time for me. I mean, I got incredibly bored of Warcraft.
Is this the final showdown already? This guy's got no sense of
Should we do this?
dramatic.
Everyone, through this door.
I get
Quickly
it.
now.
He comes
The voice
inside
acting's
to
pretty
people
good
by
too.
us. Although,
That's hit or miss
something about
sometimes.
open here.
You might get lost in translation. I'm not actually sure where Stairway Games is located, but obviously this is a very heavy Japanese influence. I just hope they didn't essentially nerf the game for Westerners to play it like they did with Vindictus. And yeah, speaking of basis for comparison, Vindictus is probably the closest thing. It's obviously not all the same. You know, there are differences, but that's probably the closest. And as far as combat is concerned, I don't have a lot of moves right now, but what I have feels satisfying. I mean, even just a basic attack. If you can make your basic attack feel cool and feel fun to do, you're doing a good job.
Prepare yourselves. Is that?
Amelia? It couldn't be.
Franz!
It totally is, man, sorry.
Snap out of it.
Buddy, here he comes.
Wake up. What's the matter with you all of a sudden? Franz! Franz!
She doesn't really sound that concerned, honestly.
Franz.
And there you go. That's the freaking tutorial. So let's get into the main town here. Let's get into the game a little bit. And that's some strange dialogue. Wow. I think I accidentally hit a button before and skipped over this. What the fuck? The hell are they doing? I think they're vampires or something. Forsaken World was definitely all about the vampires. Very, very scantily clad female vampires, more specifically. And the only reason I'm playing a chick right now is because I like her abilities better than the dude, even from the start. Sure. Sure. It still feels weird, like, doing this with the gamepad feels weird, but it is very responsive. I mean, I'm not having any trouble with it. And man, I played this last night, there was like nobody here whatsoever. Now it's all full of, identical characters. Oh well. That's fine. I don't know when you unlock costumes or anything like that, but we'll see. I'm also not entirely sure. Oh, here it is. Okay. Here's why it's a free-to-play model. You buy Zen, and flipping through this, I didn't really see anything all that game-breaking, which is good, you know. There are items, but, you know, Resurrection Tome, that you can use those while you're in dungeons and stuff. You got health potions, magic potions. I guess they're adding pets later. And then you have costumes, which don't affect anything other than how you look, you know? That's not game breaking. I don't know if stuff's locked. I mean, I don't know if you have to, like, unlock anything. I don't see it here, so I assume no, but I could be wrong. And again, I prefer navigating this with a mouse. I don't think the pad works for it, but it's actually pretty easy to get used to doing that whenever you're just navigating some menus. You grab your mouse and you're good to go. I like that setup a lot. I'd much rather use a pad. So I think... Oh, wrong way. We're gonna go into a dungeon here real quick. Try to grab a couple more abilities and stuff. And show you a bit more combat, because really that's what's gonna keep you playing it. Is the combat, probably. The story's... Nah. I don't care. You may like it. I'll let this one play a little bit. Of course, it is the beginning of the game, so you're not really, like, in the shit. It probably gets more interesting later.
young, but he's very capable. I think he'll go far in the service, and he should be of great help to you.
I think the music's a little bit loud over the voices here, but
I have some pressing matters to attend to. Bye now.
and speaking of, I really like the music of this whole game. I really, really do. So, where are we going? Going in here? That's a dungeon. I think you can just kind of navigate this without using a mouse, but meh. I'd rather do the mouse thing, so. Hop in here. As you can see, load time's nothing bad. It's fine. I wanted to pop into the options menu real quick here. Actually not sure. I can't get into it right now. I don't really know why. There. I don't know, escape wasn't working. I have no idea what that was about. I'm not gonna blame the game because that has not happened whatsoever. But yeah, check out your music for a little bit. I'm gonna turn it up. Good shit. That really, really is. I mean, all the sound effects and everything else too, like, they're very, very good. So here's your customization as far as graphics are concerned. You can see you have a ton of resolutions. It is definitely a PC game. It's lovely. You can change a few things. It's not, like, ridiculously advanced, but that's okay. I pretty much just clicked high and I was like, yeah, it looks good. Okay. I don't know what 3D vision is. I'm afraid to click it, actually. I don't think I have the graphics card to do that. Yeah, everything else, cool. You can also, I believe, rebind basically every key down here into whatever you want. By default, your arrow keys are how you move around, and A, S, D, F, G, H are your skills, and 1 to 6 or more. And I don't know what, oh, these are more skills, yeah. So I don't know what happens, like, if you're trying to use a pad to play through this whole game, I don't know if that'll work for you or not. But I know you can swap between just by pressing in the left thumbstick. You can change these in the bottom there. And it seems to work, at least for now, so. I don't know if it works quite the same farther in. All I know is I really like this combat a lot. This doesn't feel like a grind, it just feels fun. You know, it feels like I'm playing a single-player hack-and-slash spectacle fighter, kinda. Little bit of elements like that. I think it was the first one that landed a hit. He deserved a special death. Yeah, you can grab and stuff. And all your little abilities down here are set to the bumpers. So that was the left one, that's the right one. And yes, you can hit more than one thing at once, which is brilliant. It's just fun! I've been looking for something like this for a while, man. I mean, this is... Yeah, I'm a little bit biased, but I mean, this is really something I like to play as far as my preferred genres. I like hack and slashes, I like RPGs, I like when they're together, and I like spectacle fighters too. So yeah, I'm a little bit biased going into this, but I'm really trying to find some flaws. I can't find them in the controls. They're very responsive. When you want to roll, you will roll. When you want to swing, you will swing. I can't pick fault there. There's not a whole lot of them, but this is the beginning of the game.